to the goofball army out there. Hi at the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, whew.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs and Your Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by
me, Rob. Let's get to Sean Road.
It's not a mobile show. I keep telling you that, but
Rash.
Damn it. But yeah, Giants fan, the dust hasn't even settled already. The Mike Kafka era is off and running. So tonight we got emotion, chaos, and answers. Kafka just broke his silence on Brian Daboll's firing. Jameis Winston is officially QB number 1. Tim Kelly steps up as interim OC, and the roster's in flux all over again. So we're going to go ahead and dive into everything going on right now in the Giants building, live with the goofball army there. Alrighty, so we start off here. Kafka opens up with his real emotion on his friend, mentor, Brian Daboll, and the human side of this brutal business here. And Kafka spoke to the media for the very first time, officially as the interim head coach. Still sounds weird to say that. But
very weird.
First started off talking, and I give him credit for this. Listen, it's a big moment for him being the head coach of a NFL football team for the first time in his life, a place that a lot of people in coaching never even get close to sniffing, let alone actually get. The first thing he did was talk about Brian Daboll. And he said, "This is a league of incredibly difficult decisions, and I just have the utmost respect for Dabes and what he's done for me, not only as a friend, but as a coach, giving me the opportunity here to be an offensive coordinator. And so my thoughts are with him and his family, and I just appreciate the things he's done for me, and I've learned a lot from him. There's a human element to him too. So I'm very sensitive to that. I just wish nothing but the best, and we'll continue to stay in touch with him because he's a great friend of mine." So that's very interesting. I thought that it's first of all, again, classy. Like, started off right, like classy. Acknowledge the elephant in the room. Remind people, because that's also, I feel like that's why, like, he said that, is to remind people, like, hey, this was a human. Don't ask me stupid questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt like by that. But I gotta wonder. I don't know. Do you really think they're close friends, or is that just him trying to be classy?
I think that's 100% a classy move, and it's kind of in the same context that kind of what Daboll does, but instead of just not answering the question or just sidetracking it, he just kind of danced around it. Said, "Yeah, we're friends. Let's not talk about this awkward situation."
Yeah, and that, like I said, it was a classy way of doing it, I thought, but I just feel like it's weird the way, like, the whole relationship's been from the get-go. Like, again, we've been very obvious to people on how we think as far as Mike Kafka. The guy's wanted out for a long time. Like, beyond the whole, I've gone to every head coaching interview I can because that's him just trying to move up. That's nothing like bad. He literally tried to go to Seattle as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. When you're trying to do a lateral, quote unquote, promotion,
yeah,
it's probably because you don't want to be in that position anymore, or you just want to be somewhere else that much more.
And on top
why?
Of that,
and why would you want to be somewhere else more? Statistics say that people don't quit their job; they quit their boss.
Yes, 100%. And you got to wonder. I mean, he had play calling, then he got the play calling taken away, then he had the play calling, then he got the play calling taken away. You got to imagine that wasn't exactly the best thing for the relationship with the two of them. You know?
Yeah. No.
But you got to wonder, because I've had people that I've worked for in my own life that I've been like, okay, this person's kind of a schmuck to work for, but they're not a bad person outside of work necessarily. You know, like I had a boss that like, he knew he was a schmuck at work. And there was 2 guys there he really wanted to get on our good sides. He brought us out to dinner after work one day to sit down and talk to us and kind of discuss how it's difficult for him to be nice to people at work and blah, blah, blah. It was actually a very nice, conversation. And throughout the night, he was a regular person. We had conversations. Like, you kind of left like, okay, he's not that bad. But then I went back to work the next day and he was a schmuck again. So sometimes it's just the stress of work. And that's what it is. Like, look, let's be very frank. This is not a job that doesn't come without a ton of stress.
Yeah. I mean, you're a head coach, you're 1 of 32, and you're very easily replaceable in most situations.
And you're also the biggest media market, like, like there's a lot of stress that comes with it. And it's like one thing to fail as I'm gonna say this because it's the truth, not even to be a jerk. It's one thing to fail in New York as a Jets head coach. People kind of expect it. There's expectations that come with being a Giants head coach. Like the bar's a little higher.
Yeah, typically.
Like if what Aaron Glenn was going through right now was with the Giants, he would have been fired probably already. Basically, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, he'd be under a lot more pressure.
0-8, he would not have been there still. Probably they're probably like, yeah.
To the unemployment line.
So, but like I said, I just thought it was a classy thing. Like I said, I don't necessarily buy the mentor and friend thing, but I guess there's a possibility that, like I said, outside of work, he's not a bad guy. I don't know.
Well, and you said it before too. Sometimes people are dicks to work with, but they're great outside of work.
Yeah.
Sometimes your mentor isn't Mr. Nice. Like, sometimes you need a mentor out there. Even if they're not doing the way you like it, you can see it being done wrong, and it still teaches you how to do it a better way.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. Again, without us being in the room, it's hard for us to say. I don't want to knock one person as right or wrong in any situation that I'm not in 100%. But I don't know. I feel like Daboll just blows up probably, and then probably apologizes afterwards. He's probably that guy.
Yeah, it's 100%. In the meeting or whatever, I walked away. It's like, I probably should have done.
I'm sorry, I probably took that a little too far.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I had a boss like that.
Like I said, I did think it was classy of him to do that. So I want to make sure we definitely give him the credit on that. And like I said, we're not going to be the show that's going to sit there and bash Daboll nonstop. He's gone. He's time to move on. It's not going to be a situation that we talk about hopefully for 3 years like it is with Saquon and Daniel Jones and all those guys. We're moving on.
Yeah. Move right along.
Moving on up. Let's get the rest of the Kafka what he talked about there. So, new communication rules, new alignment. Kafka explains how he and Bowen will tighten the operation there, guys. Because that was one of the big questions, obviously, too, was what about Bowen? And he kind of took the bull by the horns. Let's be honest. PR staff of the Giants probably working with this guy nonstop for 2 days, basically, to figure out what to say. Because Joe Shane was too chicken shit to do it himself. Calling like it is. He said, was talking about Bowen specifically. He said, we've met several times the past couple of days, get on the same page, the communication, talk about some of the minor tweaks we would do to make it more efficient and clean up some of the communication stuff. That's probably the biggest thing, is me getting on the same page with them. Up until this point, I haven't been privileged to those conversations, obviously talking about the defense. He also asked if any of the coaching changes are expected. He said, right now, no. I have a lot of trust in our group, being around these guys for the last several years. So there's 2 things I thought really interesting in this. One, talk about some of the minor tweaks we would do to make it more efficient and clean up communication stuff. We've talked about it how many times? How many times?
So much. You got to wonder, too, that we've talked about, like, it'd be interesting to see the play call in this game, but you have to think, guys, as a head coach, you're doing the overall all the play calling, and as an offensive guru, you have to understand how defense is going to react. And so, how much is he tampering with the play calling on defense when he doesn't know how defense is run because he doesn't know how the offense is?
Or is it just he doesn't know how to speak up and say, "Hey, these are issues that I've gotten from players that it's still, complicated the way we're calling plays in and stuff like that." It could be either way. It could be Bowen's complaining about what Daboll made him do. It could be the players are complaining that we've seen it kind of publicly to a certain degree, complaining to now Kafka about what Bowen's doing. It could be either way. He's not saying exactly, nor should he have to. You know what I mean? But it's obvious that there's something in the communication that is not clear. And the only people that are communicating in that scenario are the players and Bowen. So was it Daboll making it overly complicated on purpose? Or was it Bowen doing it and Daboll not stepping up and saying, "Hey, we got issues here. People are missing their mark. People are at the wrong spot." Again, we don't know the plays.
Yeah.
That's part of what we don't know. You know what I mean? Again, we're not going to be that place that tries to tell people we know everything going on at all times. No, we're not going to BS like that. Unfortunately, without knowing the plays, it'd be great if they would do it 2 weeks later. Here's the all 22 with the plays. Put a little thing on the screen so we know where they were supposed to be.
That would be interesting. That'd be very interesting.
Honestly, listen, if Bill Belichick doesn't get a job next year, which I got to assume he doesn't get a job, and I assume UNC is going to probably want to buy him out themselves, I would watch that man go through old tape of the Patriots and discuss plays. I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. The man understands footage and understands how plays are supposed to be.
Yeah.
The problem is he was really good at it 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and he just
and that's what I'm saying, not a coach.
Yeah, he hasn't modernized his play style, but he definitely knows how to read all that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it'd be interesting to see. I really do think I'd enjoy it. Again, you do older games, we're going to show the plays and that kind of stuff. I would enjoy watching that. I actually would. But
yeah,
the other thing that he said in this is,
well, I also, the minor tweaks, but we just be on the same page too. It's just something to take away. Was the conversation not being had in the higher ups rooms of what's going on? Because that's something we all should be talking about.
Well, that's the question. When he says the biggest thing is getting the same page with them, was he's saying that he wasn't on the same page with them because he wasn't in those meetings prior because he was just focused on the offense as he should have been, or was he saying that there was miscommunication going on prior that he wanted to? And I don't know. Again, that's why I'm saying we don't know what he tells us. The other thing that I thought was interesting though is when they again asked any other coaching changes are expected, he said, "Right now, no." Didn't say no. Right now, no.
Well, that's also kind of what we talked about. We were talking about possibly Daboll getting fired. Is they're probably going to fire Daboll, maybe Bowen, and then put everyone on a short leash. Well, so this is a nice way of saying that you're not on a short leash per se. There's not going to be personnel per se, but it's not and that's not out of the question.
It's kind of like, I don't want to do that, but if they make me
twist my arm, see what happens.
Because all the reports are saying that that Kafka has full control over the staff now. Kafka is the one who's going to be able to decide. He doesn't have to go to Shane and ask permission and stuff like that. I'm sure he'll have a courtesy conversation with him, but they gave Kafka full reins of the actual staff. So, because they know things got to change. Things have got to change, guys. And I'm sorry, but I don't think they're going to fully change until Bowen's gone.
Yeah.
So that, that's just me. That's for sure, though. But all right, before we get to the next segment, there,
I was going to say.
I got it. I saw it. I was
going to say.
We do got to give a thank you here to Ronnie Rivers, who's always with us here as well. Appreciate you, Ronnie. She's now a member of the YouTube group here with us with a subscription, as well as also the $4.99 super chat. It says, "Love you guys. I hope we can get this team together. Here we have some decent talent. Little fire, heart. Be safe." Appreciate you, Ronnie. Appreciate the support as always.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Though I still think we got the team together. We just don't want the coaching together.
I was about to say we have way more than better than decent talent. We got some good talent, and I think any head coach coming into next year is going to be looking at chops in order to be able to coach this team right now.
Yep.
And then have the draft picks that they're going to probably have.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll see. There's one way that we might not have some draft picks. We'll talk about that in a minute here, but this is, like I said, this is the cupboard's not bare, guys. For once, I feel like I can say that honestly. The cupboard's not bare. It's the coaching.
No.
We're gonna find out with real coaching what we actually are, but it's definitely the coaching here. So, all right. Next up, guys. And I love this thumbnail, by the way, because I put Russell Wilson all sad, deflated on the outside there.
Let's ride.
Winston QB1, Wilson QB2. Dart's still out. How the call sheet changes and what must be protected, guys. Officially, Jameis Winston is the starter for the game here on Sunday. And I, you know what? It's like, here, you got the first thing right now. Because this is supposedly Kafka's call 100%. Like, Kafka, you got your first major decision right. Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. Here we go. We gotta do it right here. There we go.
All hail the New York Giants.
Because if I had to sit there and watch 4 quarters of Russell Wilson stumbling around the goddamn football field again, I was gonna flip my shit like you would not believe. I am not dealing with that again.
Well, it was funny because you and I talked about Daboll getting fired was just shy of 12:30 in the afternoon Monday.
Yeah.
I was actually on the phone with a Green Bay fan and talking about the game this week. And I said the only hope we got is Daboll getting fired, Kafka stepping up, Jameis Winston taking in as QB1 because Dart's probably not going to play. Otherwise, without Malik Neighbors, without Cam Scadaboo, without Dart, this game's not going to be fun to watch. It's probably going to be a blowout. The only thing we're going to have going for us is a new coach wave, if you will, because players like to step up. It happens probably 75% of the time when a coaching staff has changed. A head coach gets fired. Next week, a team that has some talent wins a game that's unexpected.
Oh, yeah.
Now you take the quarterback that's not supposed to play. Well, Cam, you talk about Jackson Dart, who is in concussion protocol. Our backup is a lame duck. Sorry, Russ. Was a fan of you for a while, but
that's right.
Really lost a step. That's right to the rock. Now you got Winston, who I've been beating the drum about being our backup for a year and a half now.
We wanted him last year. We wanted him over DJ last year.
It's not that I want him over DJ. It's the only guy that was out there we could have got that could have gave DJ legit competition. Because he never had it.
And it would have actually agreed to the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you got a guy out there who could get you 7 touchdowns. It may go 2 the other way, but when's the last time Giants had 5 touchdowns? Oh, wait.
And listen, Jameis is going to be fun to watch. No matter what, listen, we're going to get pissed off at some point, too, let's be honest, too, because he's probably going to throw to the wrong team. We've been very spoiled. People don't realize how spoiled we are with Jackson Dart, the way he's been, because he's been so excellent at not turning the ball over. You got the one bad game he had in New Orleans. If you take that game out, which I know, again, the queen at ball should be the king, but you take the one game out there, he had 6 starts and 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
He's literally on a lower than NFL average. I did the math yesterday on this. It's like 0.8 turnovers per game is the NFL average for a quarterback since 2000. He's at 0.71.
Math.
So, and again, that's including that one horrible game he had. So, Jameis Winston, we're going to have to kind of go into this game knowing that he's going to throw probably a pick or 2. That's what Jameis does. But I do think this offense, and let's see how different the offense is, obviously. That's another part of the equation we don't know yet. But I think this offense is 100% set up for a guy like Jameis Winston. Because he's not afraid to chuck it in close windows. But it's also because he's not going to see throwing these deep bombs because that's not as big a thing as in this offense. He may actually not throw the picks because of that.
Yes. And that's what, and I love that you said it there, because when he played back his last job playing with the Saints.
Yeah.
They took that
two
back.
jobs ago.
Yeah, sorry, 2 jobs ago. When he actually had to start and play for him,
Yeah.
like they dialed that back. Like the 40+ yard bombs were way shorter, but he still threw the ball 10, 20 yards down the field. And his interception rate over there dropped a little bit. He had a couple bad games, but like big time from when he was in Tampa Bay. So they learned how to kind of control that a little bit. I'm sure there's been tape that we've watched, and hopefully our coach staff went through and they went through the progressions, and hopefully, it's a lot better game because Russ is throwing down the field and just underthrown.
Russ just doesn't even see people anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He can't get the outside. He can't see over the line. Therefore, that's an issue.
Yeah,
but
12 years ago, he had good eyesight and could step back, and now he barely steps back.
And if he asked Richard Sherman, the defense bailed him out. So,
yeah. Well, when you're playing at this age, you got cataracts and
Oh gosh, he's not that age yet. But I mean, if you go to this, I got the Jameis Winston stats up here. So we spent 5 years in Tampa. He had 121 tackles, 121 touchdowns, and 88 interceptions. So about a 4-to-3 ratio there. So very similar. In his year in Cleveland, he had last year 13 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But if you go to those 4 years in New Orleans, his 4 years overall, 21 games, 10 starts. He had 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And they played it much safer. That's the difference. And his completion percentage actually went down, which is something you don't usually see in that kind of thing. His touchdown percentage actually went up. So it was at like 4.7 in Tampa, 4.4 in Cleveland, and it was 6 in New Orleans. His yards per attempt was actually dead on to where he was. Like I said, it's just they set it up a little different for him. Like, let him go after some yak, let him figure out that kind of stuff there. And, let us play a little safer. And they forced him into that role. And he looked much better in the time he got. So definitely not necessarily a bad situation there. But they also didn't make him chuck it nonstop.
Yeah.
The pass, if you look, his touchdown percentage actually was much higher, but his interception percentage was not that much lower than it was in Tampa. He just didn't get a chance to chuck the ball as much. Simple routes, safe routes. Don't put the ball in his hands nonstop. What we need a big game from Tracy and Scadaboo. Let the run game happen.
Singletary. Scadaboo, we watched.
Oh, I'm sorry. Singletary.
I
wish Scadaboo. I missed that kid. I miss him.
Yeah.
There's my
He's breaking it. He's breaking the internet talking about how to eat a taco.
This is a life-size rendition of Scadaboo.
Oh, the thigh's got to be a lot bigger.
But yeah, like I said, I think that's what it is. You just got to go ahead and play it in a system that makes sense for what Jameis Winston does well. Because he's got a good arm on him. It's just he's got some vision problems. And I don't mean the cataracts.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of his problem is playing from behind and trying to play hero ball.
It's definitely was some of it in Tampa, because Tampa wasn't obviously a good team. I mean, they were 28-42 in the 72 games he was in. Sorry, 70 starts he had. I was like, that math doesn't work there. That's why they did based on starts. His 70 starts, 28-42. He was 6-4 of the 10 starts in New Orleans, 2-5 in Cleveland. So again, not saying he's some saving grace or he's an amazing player, but what he can do is he can still chuck it, and Russ can't. He can oversee over the offensive line. Russ can't.
And another thing is, a lot of teams don't have recent tape on what he's done, especially
last year. It was last year with Cleveland.
Not with the Giants.
Not with the Giants.
Where if you would let me finish that, that's where I was getting at.
Just saying, I was
like, right in there.
I did. I jumped on in.
So that being said, yes, there's tape on Winston being out there. You could pull up tape from 10 years ago playing with Tampa Bay, It's not going to be the tape where he's going to play like on Sunday. So once again, no team has tape on Kafka fully run the team or how the team's going to look coming out Sunday. So it's going to make it a little more interesting when we play against Green Bay.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious. I think the other thing too is not that they don't have tape on Winston. We don't have tape on Kafka. I've said all along, I really think that Daboll meddled a lot in that offense. This is the first time we're going to see a true Mike Kafka offense. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but listen, there's plenty of people in the NFL circles that hold him in extremely high regard.
Yeah, so 100%, because you got to look at, like, why did Kafka get the OC job with us? What QB was he working with?
Yeah, because of Mahomes.
Mahomes. What got Brian Daboll the job with us? What QB was he working with that he developed as well? Allen. Who made who? Granted, both those guys are fantastic without their QB coach or offensive coordinator, but you can also make an argument that Mahomes hasn't excelled as much as Josh Allen has since one.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely not make that argument myself, but and Greg brings up a good point too here as well. We'll get to the comments with you guys later on here, but he makes a good comment saying Kafka did learn from Andy Reid. That's about as good as a guy you can learn from. That's for damn sure. So, but like I said, I'm actually excited to see what happens. There's a lot of things I'm curious about. Jameis Winston. I'm curious about this offense. I'm curious if there's a change in the defense because that means Daboll.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to pin it all on one guy. Like, there's a lot of things. Like Shane Bowen should be able to figure out himself because he's supposed to be a defensive guy. Or Mike Kafka, was calling the plays. We complain about Dark being running and being run plays. He was calling those plays. But was he calling those plays because the Daboll told him to? I don't know.
Yeah. Or how many times was Brian Daboll doing one of these and actually calling the offensive play?
Yeah. Yes. So we'll find out, guys. Like I said, it's gonna be an interesting game. It's a good opponent we have. We will do a kind of a preview of that game tomorrow. Usually we do it on Wednesday, but we're gonna kind of move that over because we have so much to talk about from Kafka talking and some roster moves today. Listen, Green Bay is a team that point blank plays down to their opponent. I think I saw Jay even say that in the comments section earlier. They really do.
It's like I've been talking about week in and week out.
Yeah. They lost to the Browns, lost to the Panthers. They almost lost to the Cardinals. Like, it's a really good record they have. Don't get me wrong. Tied to the Cowboys. Yeah, but I thought about that too. Yeah. So, like, it's a really good record they have. I'm jelly.
They do. If we start the playoffs this weekend, they make the wild card. We don't.
Yeah.
So they're still playing good football. It's just
100%. It's just you see the flaws. So, all right, guys. Next up here, let's get right into it here as we have more and more news here from this conversation that Mike Kafka here had with the media here. So Kafka keeps play calls, but Kelly connects run and pass. What this means on first and seconds down here, guys. We have a new OC officially. That's what it means. That's the big one there. Tim Kelly, who looks like a more angry version of like Matt Patricia in that photo.
I was going to say.
Like someone took the last pot roast burrito at the Golden Corral or something.
Oh, listen, that's not the pot roast burrito face when there's no more. Definitely way angrier.
But he's been our tight ends coach the last year and a half, I guess you call it. The guy I didn't even think about as an interim OC. I just kind of assumed they would put Shea Tierney up since he was the quarterback coach for this little continuity with Daboll. But yeah, he's been our tight ends coach for the last year and a half, and he's a guy who's been an OC before, so there's a sensibility to it. He was the Titans OC back in 2023, passing game coordinator in 2022. So he also worked with Bowen. That's another interesting part of that as well, is you got another adult in the room with Kafka and Bowen that knows Bowen. So you got to be kind of curious if some of that is partially why as well. He knows more what went on in Tennessee and what Bowen did or didn't do, and what Vrabel did or didn't do. because that's always been the thing people say. So in the back of my mind, I got to wonder if that's part of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much in thought into it, but I don't know. Like it's possible. It's possible. So before the Titans, he was also the offensive coordinator for the Texans, 19 to 21. So a few years there. Was also the quarterback coach in 20. Before that, tight ends coach 17 to 18, and was also an assistant in various roles in general with the team. So altogether, from 2014 to 2021, all with the Texans. That's a lot of time to be with one team as a coach there. That's much like players. Coaches move around like crazy. Like, don't get used to a house.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, you see that where they get promoted up. It's kind of like, all right, well, yeah, you're an offensive line coach, and maybe it'll be a quarterback coach. Maybe like and just move through the progressions there because the team likes you and they want to keep you around and offer you this job, that job, a little more moolah here and there.
Well, sometimes it's also like a new coach comes in, and there's a couple coaches, obviously, in the Texans at their time there, and you say, "Hey, we like this guy. We want you to sit down and talk to him. He's been this coach here. Maybe you get a spot for him." And they get maybe a bump up the next time when the regime changes. That does happen, But Mike Kafka is going to be still calling the plays. So we do have that as well. So that's a little more continuity as well. Merit term there, continuity.
Yeah, continuity.
Mike Kafka talking about Kelly there said, really smart coach. He'll help us tie in the run game and the pass game. Does a great job with a lot of good experience to bank on. I thought that was a little interesting the way he put that. Tie in the run game and the pass game. And again, this is one of those press conferences that every single thing you say, I'm going to analyze the hell out of. Because just as well as I do, there's stuff that he wanted to say that he didn't say because it'd be wrong to say.
I mean, the first thing I thought was like, Kafka's still going to call the play calls. So the new OC doesn't get it.
Yep.
Part of me says, it's my turn with the ball. I'm going to do this now. I haven't done this. But he's a really smart coach, and he knows what he's doing. I'm going to listen to what he has to say, but it's my decision finally. I'm doing it.
But I just like this in the tie-in part because I feel like there was a lot of times in the games where it's like we could pass, we couldn't run, we could run, we couldn't pass. And I'm wondering if that's what, if he saw something on his side that he couldn't fix because of Daboll. And that's why that was going on in his head. Again, everybody likes to blame everything on the guy who just left. So I'm not trying to be that guy to say it's all Daboll either. But maybe Kafka is. I don't know. Again, I don't want to read too much into it, but I'm giving thoughts, hypotheses off his statements, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Kafka could know that he's a guy that gets fixated on one thing one week and another week, and he might need someone to say, "Yo, stop doing that."
Well, like I said, how many times you see in a drive we talk about it, and for all y'all that are in the chat that has been with me during live play-by-plays even too, it's like run. It's like, well, yeah, this one worked. Let's do it again. Oh, it worked again. Let's do it again. Eventually, they're going to stop you for -5 yards. They know the goddamn play coming. You've done it 3 times in a row now.
Yeah, like the Bears last week, the first 4 first downs we had, we ran it.
Yeah,
because that just doesn't telegraph what we're going to do on first down.
Yeah, I mean, you know exactly what's going to happen. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. I am curious. As I saw the comment there from Greg, but maybe we'll see Fedoni finally. I mean, you got to wonder as a tight ends coach, being that, let's be honest, our receiver room is not very good, and it got even a little worse today. The tight end room has got potentially more talent than the wide receiver room with Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger. Maybe we finally see Fedoni catch the ball. He's been mostly used as a blocker. So he's got some hands, so kind of curious to see if something happens here. But you got to also say at the same point that because he was a tight ends coach and you didn't see Fedoni very often, maybe he just didn't see it in Fedoni. And that's why, not like Daboll and Kafka weren't talking to the position coaches to find out what they thought of players.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have we talked about well, at least I've brought up situations where different teams, like our offensive line's going down. We should definitely have some 12-man personnel set up, and extra tight end out there. We don't see it to just even help. the
I'd
offensive
be okay
line.
with 3 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 1 running back. Even
I would
know
say,
what I mean?
look at the Rams last week. They did a 13-man setup. How many times? I think it was like 30% of the snaps. It was crazy.
I put 1 wide receiver out there and put all the tight ends out there. Like do that kind of thing. Like I don't care. The tight ends are better. It is what it is. Like honestly, who do you think is getting open more often?
Well, just look at the room. Look how they're playing, and it's
Slayton's always
and
hurt.
right now-
Wandale Robinson has little T-Rex arms. He's playing really from the slot. Theo Johnson is the one guy that scares me because he's dropping the ball so much. I want to see a whole lot more of Daniel Bellinger. That's one thing I'm kind of
100%.
curious about with this. Like, this is the guy who literally was coaching Bellinger for the last year and a half. And when they use him, he looks good. And they don't use him all the time. And remember, how many times have we said there's got to be something that happened somewhere that stopped Bellinger from being used? And we don't know it. It's something behind the scenes that no one's reported on. And to be very frank, I've never heard one of the media people ask point blank, what the hell? Why did you stop using Bellinger after his rookie year?
Yeah, he had a great rookie year.
Yeah.
For a tight end.
We expected him to be a blocking tight end. We expected him to be what basic Chris Manhurts is. And he became, in 22, a good security blanket guy for DJ. Like, he didn't get a ton of catches, but he got him in goal line situations. He got him in third downs. Like, he was the guy that popped open when DJ was in trouble. And all of a sudden,
450 for his rookie year, and it wasn't utilized the first 4 games.
Ever since he had, that finger hit his eye with that like Red Ryder BB gun style at that point there and poke his eye out, it's like all of a sudden you just didn't see him anymore when he came back, and it just went away. And I don't get it.
It didn't make sense.
No.
And
so
what was it, week 6? He had like 2 touchdowns this year. He had a great game. So
wait, that was Theo Johnson had 2 touchdowns.
Bellinger had a good game. Week 5?
I will look it up while you're talking about him.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just getting at he had
you're thinking about the Broncos, 3 catches, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. So week 6. Yeah. That was right.
Yeah. I knew it was a good game. I can't remember which one it was. In fact, he had 4 catches, 52 yards for the Saints. Game 2. So he had 7 catches and 140 yards in 2 games. This guy needs to be involved more in the offense, and I'm hoping it's a Daboll thing, not a Kafka thing.
Yeah, I wonder if he got caught doing something that Daboll didn't like, and he just said, "We're not using you."
I mean, and I'm not even saying crazy things, just to be clear when I say this. I'm thinking like he should be a 30, 40 yard kind of game guy. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Tony Gonzalez or Travis Kelce or Gronk. Like, he's not that.
No, I'm not saying either. But if you got a guy that's going to go out there and be with Kake, what's the tight end over in for the Bills?
Oh, Dawson, you saying?
No, not Dawson, the other one.
Oh,
Carrick.
Yeah, and Dalton Kincaid, the kid from Utah.
Kincaid, there you go.
Well, Kincaid's a receiving guy. Kincaid's more the Theo Johnson type. Dawson Knox is more the Bellinger type.
I'm gonna say, but Dawson's been a better tight end for the most part for him. But
plus he has that creek.
He does. Oh man, to be over.
My gosh. We're aging ourselves here.
Yeah, I'll see.
I think we've reached the point where like half the people have no clue about that show anymore. That show was like 25, almost 30 years ago.
Shut your whore mouth.
It is what it is.
Sorry.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pay the bills real quick, guys. We're right back. We got 4 more things to talk about here. I almost put up 5 fingers. 4 more to talk about, and then of course we get to everybody's comments there. So hang tight.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 giant goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys, let's get to the second half here of our stories going on here with the Giants. Like I said, tons of stuff going on here. So we got poachers, guys. There's a poacher warning.
Oh, man.
Denver poaches Humphrey. Oof. So down now another wide receiver in depth. And who's going to step up here now as a result? Or does it even matter? Because quite frankly, we never played him anyway. So, but yeah, lil'jordan Humphrey officially has gone back to Denver, back to that thin air. And he's a guy that, quite frankly, like we talked about it last week, he was on X during the game, flipping out that the Giants didn't put him in, basically. And not even like in a bad way. It wasn't like he was flipping out in a way that like made him look like a schmuck or like somebody who was like, just the angry employee kind of guy. He was just disappointed because they kept not calling him up from the practice squad, basically. And then you remember the one game he really got involved with was that Eagles game.
He did good.
And he had that one big catch. You'll always remember that in that game there. Anytime you think of that game, you're thinking of that big catch. But I mean, all in all, he had 4 catches, 55 yards. So nothing crazy to write home about and go, oh my God, this guy is the guy. I can't believe that this is the guy we got. But let me ask you this way. Who would you rather have, him or Jalen Hyatt?
Oh, definitely lil'jordan. And
Would you rather have him or Bo Collins?
lil'jordan. Hands down, like, you don't have to sell me. And I was talking about, like, you pick a guy up for practice squad, elevate him to a big rival, which we haven't beat in a long time.
Yeah.
And he sits there and gets you 4 catches for 55 yards. He had a good day.
And we only put him active for 3 freaking games. That's the crazy part. Like, I don't understand why. Like, Jalen Hyatt's a waste of a goddamn roster spot. Bo Collins is a guy that, quite frankly, should not even be in the NFL. And as Greg says in the chat, he's our only tall receiver we got. Like, why the hell? This is the stuff that aggravates me to no end as a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Like, you have 2 waste of a freaking roster spot wide receivers that aren't doing a damn thing for you. And you're like, we're just going to go ahead and just keep this guy in the practice squad. And don't tell me we couldn't use him in the Saints game, for example.
Oh, without a doubt. Especially, like, the way they were playing, throwing a pie would have been, like, perfect. It's just, like...
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's absolutely goddamn ridiculous that we didn't go ahead and keep him. And, like, Bo Collins should have been on the goddamn practice squad. I'm sorry. Like, I know, like, people, they like his special teams abilities. But how many goddamn special teamers do we need, Joe Judge, Brian Daboll?
Exactly.
Like,
That's going to get there. It's like, how many tall body receivers, how many big body receivers do we have on this roster?
Yeah.
0 now. And you want to keep Bo Collins because he could, have the potential running back. We also got Ostrowski.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I wonder what would have happened with Kafka. If Kafka would have been like, hey, listen, look, we're going to call you up, or hey, we're going to keep you on the active roster and bring Bo Collins down like he should be. I don't know. Maybe Kafka didn't like him, and maybe that's part of why he left. But in the end, he was on a practice squad, so he was able to be just snatched up. And Denver is where he played the last 2 years, so he knows Sean Payton's system very well, obviously. And again, I'm not trying to say he's some great player or anything like that, but it's a goddamn shame when you have 2 players that are so much worse, it's not even funny. And they're still on the active roster week in, week out, just wasting oxygen and space. And yet a guy like this just sitting there. And again, I'm not saying he's a great player, but literally almost 300 yards last year, 160 yards the year before, was hurt, so didn't have a lot in 22, had 250 yards in 21. Like, don't tell me this guy isn't more valuable to a roster than freaking Bo Collins and Jalen Hyatt together.
I was going to say, watch lil'jordan, go out there and get 80 yards, against this Kansas City defense they have to play.
And they're going to, because he's already said he's going to be active in the game and everything. So keep in mind, when you take a player from a practice squad, you have to put him on the active roster. That doesn't mean he's got to be on your active 48. He's got to be on the 52-man roster. So, in the end, he's going to go ahead and play. They already said it. At the end of the day, he's going to play. So, if I see highlights in the Kansas City game of lil'jordan Humphrey, Bo Nick's throwing it up to him, I'm going to be so goddamn pissed. It's not even funny, because we are desperate for wide receiver help. And you literally let the guy out the door who may be the third best wide receiver we have.
Especially, like, we're talking about playing Green Bay. Their secondary is pretty good. Looking at you, Kenny, sitting back there, making them tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a good pass rush too, but you could have this big body receiver would have helped you big time.
Yes.
Unintended in this game. But instead, let's have Jalen Highland out there just running for no reason.
So I'm saying it's absolutely goddamn ridiculous. And, in the end, since it's a roster decision, I'm going to put it on Joe Shane, because he's the guy who's supposed to be in control of the roster in the end. He's the guy. It's his roster. So in the end, Kafka or Daboll, they just make the decision of who's going to be playing off that active roster. Roster decisions go down to the GM. And this is why I'm so upset that we're keeping Joe Shane. Now, again, he wasn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem was Brian Daboll. The second biggest problem was Shane Bowen. But he's still in the top 3. You catch my drift?
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm just not understanding. Like, like Ray McLeod and lil'jordan Humphrey should have been put on the active roster, both those guys immediately, and Bo Collins and Jalen Hyatt should have been put down to the practice squad immediately. There's no reason.
Names alone.
There's no reason for those guys to be around there. Waste the goddamn roster space. It's just it is what it is. The folly of being a Giants fan. So
yeah.
All righty, guys. So interesting thing I saw online today, and I wanted us to have a discussion on this. Would you ship future picks for Tomlin's culture and wins? Time for us to debate it. Because listen, we've been saying we want an actual coach, right? How long have we been saying this? How many years have we been saying this? So ML Football, one of the social media, guys out there, suggested, would you take this trade? The trade was the first round pick this year, third round pick next year. So 26th first, a 27th third. Now, the whole reason this started became a thing that kind of stuck in my brain was actually Doug Rush, who I actually have a lot of respect for as a writer. He's a good writer. Got a chance to talk to him a couple of times. He's a nice guy. He was saying, no, that's insane. That's crazy. And I'm like, is it? Is it? And it's funny because I was on with Tim on Online Big Blue yesterday, and we were talking about this. And I posed the question. So I'm going to pose it to you, Robin. You and I haven't even talked about this beforehand.
Yeah.
I said, if you could right now trade Abdul Carter for Mike Tomlin, would you?
Right now, as it sits, what we have, yes.
I'm not even hesitating. Yes, done. Here's why. Because has Abdul Carter won you 4 games this season? Because coaching's lost us 4.
Yes. So you have the great prospect of Carter, and wherever he goes, he's going to be a great player.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Injury aside. But what he doesn't bring is a leadership role for the whole team and a culture shock for the whole team.
Plus, he's a pass rusher. He's not a run stopper, and he's not a complete player like that, really.
Yeah, well, depends on coaching. Like,
and we'll see how he grows.
Can help out how he develop.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you pick up Tomlin, he can make good players look great, bad players look good, and those really good players look phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he also knows when to cut the ties on him and get him the hell out of Pittsburgh. Look at you, Antonio Brown. Look at you, Pickens. Look at actually not Pickens. Cease.
No, we'll see. So I just said it as Carter because he was our first round pick last year.
I know what you're saying.
But
I know what you're saying because that makes the decision tough.
It
you
does.
want
I'm going to pose this one to you. Would you trade Deontay Banks and Jalen Hyatt?
Of course.
That's a first and a third right there. And that's the point I'm trying to make is it's a risk. Yes, it's a risk. But you're talking about draft picks that are a gamble. They're a gamble.
But then you could say, right, like Drew Phillips and Jackson Dart. That's the first and the third.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Jackson Dart is the one guy that there's no way in goddamn hell I'm trading for a coach.
But that's also part of the roulette. That's also part of the roulette.
Oh, I know it is.
The first
but
round.
I'm saying, we already have the quarterback, though. We already have the quarterback. And you only get so much time with the quarterback on a rookie deal to go ahead and do what you can. We also have money clearing, people are forgetting, from the Daniel Jones contract. That is coming off the books next year. So we're going to have a good amount of money chunk cleared up there as well from that. So to me, you have to take advantage of that cheap quarterback time frame. You don't have time to wait and see if a guy was okay in the spot turns out great here. You don't have time to see if a first-time head coach becomes good because it's going to take him a couple years to do it. You go and get yourself the elite coach you can. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are not so high in him because he hasn't won a playoff game in a while and all this stuff. You try winning playoff games in Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett.
That's what I was about to say.
Justin Fields. Russell Wilson. He took Russell Wilson to the playoffs last year, guys. We've seen him this year. How good of a coaching job does that seem right now? He took Russell Wilson with him as his quarterback to the postseason last year.
Yeah. 100%. This is where I was about to get at before. When you have a great coach, mentor, and leader in the room, they elevate all the players on the field, which allows each player to play better next to each other, which is as silly and redundant as it sounds. But if you have a really good person playing next to you, you're going to play better because you don't want to be outshined.
Yeah.
If you have a bad coach, you don't elevate that in these players. Mike Tomlin's done that his whole career. Just look at his record.
Yeah.
He's never had a losing season, which is absolutely absurd. With terrible talent. And he sits there and elevates them all the time. Bring a guy like that in this squad where there's a lot of talent. How well do they play? Yeah. You tell me if you had Dart neighbors playing in Pittsburgh, they'd be on a playoff run. Be a lot better than what they're doing now.
Oh, yeah. But part of the equation also, though, turns into where are we going to be at the end of the season for this draft position? Because I understand you may go scouting and go to certain players that I hold in that high regard. I'm not going to give up the risk to go get them. I see Anthony in the comments already talked about that too as well with Tyson or Tate. Part of it's where you're going to be at. And to be honest, part of why I'm so willing to say this is a yes is because of the fact that I don't think we're going to be as low as we are right now. So if you look at where we're at right now, we're stuck at 2-8. We're the third pick overall. We have the Browns, the Jets, the Raiders, all at 2-7, meaning they've already had their bye week. So assuming they lose when we have our bye week and the average is out, we're going to go at that point down to number 5 because 2 of those 3 have a lower strength of schedule. So that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
Now throw in the fact that Vegas is going to also potentially go back down as well. Now we go to 6. Now let's say we win a couple of games because here's the thing, guys. I honestly think we're going to win a few games. I don't think the Packers game is as unwinnable as people think it is because the Packers have a tendency to play down to talent. I'm not saying we're going to win. We're not the favorite. I'm just saying it wouldn't last couple of weeks I've said there's no way in hell we're winning this game. No way in hell. This is an 80% chance we lose this week. I'll say it that way.
I would say 70, 65.
That's there's still a chance because the Packers.
You said there's absolutely no way we win against the Bears. I said I gave a 30% shot.
Yeah.
We said no way we're going to beat the Eagles. I said there's a shot. This is time of the year. And people are also forgetting Green Bay is a little more beat up than a lot of people think about.
Yep.
So the Giants could take take advantage of that. I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow as well, but like their best receiver is not a receiver. It's a position that we don't play against blocking, and we don't have to worry about it because he's out there.
And I'll say this as well. This also applies to multiple coaches that I'd look at, including John Harbaugh, who you all know is probably the guy that if I can pick anybody, it would be Kyle Shanahan, but Harbaugh's not far behind. So after this week, we have the Lions. We'll get our butts whipped, let's be honest. Then we have the Patriots. And people think that the Patriots are amazing because they're 8-2. Let me just do this real quick. Let me pull it up real quick for you guys. This is what they've done lately. Okay, they just barely beat the Bucs. That's a solid win.
That was the prove me right game. Just saying.
They beat by 1 point the Falcons, who have not looked that good this year. They beat them.
Wishy-washy.
Listen to this. The Patriots then beat the Broncos, the Patriots. I said Patriots. The Browns, the Titans, and the Saints. That was their 4-game stretch there. The Saints, the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, leading up to that game. That's not that they're not a good team, but they are definitely
7 straight.
Yeah, because they've been placing crap teams. They had they first off they lost to the Raiders.
Bills.
They beat the Bills.
Week 1.
No, that was it was week 1. They barely beat the Dolphins after the Dolphins got whooped on by the Colts that week 1.
Don't be surprised that the Dolphins win a few more games this year. Just saying.
No, what I'm just saying is don't be surprised if we do. We're going to find out how much the problem is Daboll. But what I'm just saying is, again, that's not unwinnable. I'm not saying we're the favorite, but that's not unwinnable. I give it a 65% chance, like you were saying before.
I'll give a little less than 65. I'll go to like an 80% chance they win, but it's still you're right.
Then you got the Commanders. The Commanders are an absolute shit show. Let's be honest.
We should win that game.
So
besides Daniels going down, that defense is just also dislocated themselves.
You got the Vikings, which have been 4-5 and had quarterback issues and everything all entire year. Then you got the Raiders. Then you got the Cowboys. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking that we're going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think we'll be a top 10 to 15 pick. Like, I don't think we're going to go crazy. But if we win 3 more games, let's say hypothetically end up like 5-12, we're not going to be a top 5 pick, guys.
I think we probably get 3 more wins this year.
Yeah, I said I don't think that's ridiculous with that schedule. We're about to come into the weak part of the schedule. Finally, about goddamn time.
I mean, we talked about it from the get-go. We argued about this when we were 1-3. I was like, this is the toughest part of the schedule. We call it being this bad.
And it's just we're still in it. This is what it is. So, like I said, I seriously, I feel like I would take a trade in a heartbeat for a good quality adult in the room coach. There's not a lot of them, guys. There's a lot more other things. There's a lot more receivers. There's a lot more pass rushers. There's not a lot of them.
You know what that does? If Mary Trish come out next week and say, all right, we're going to just put it out there. Like, we're going to make a trade for an elite head coach. We're giving up a first and third. That's just a message out to the players and the coaching staff. Because what does the elite coach, what are they going to do when they come in? They're going to clean house and anything they think is garbage.
Yeah.
So each player is going to step up, play for the contract. How much do you think they're going to want to lose? They're going to tank for the best spot because they're going to want to compete for the job the following year.
Yeah.
In the next contract.
Like I said, I would make this kind of move in a heartbeat. Now, again, if we have a top 3 pick we have now, maybe I'm not, but I don't think we have a top 3 pick when it's all said and done. So we'll find out. So, all right. So, legendary bruiser Brandon Jacobs says he's ready. Is RB coach the move? Brandon Jacobs, of all people, wants to come on back. He says, I'm not sure what the Giants are going to do, But I'll tell you what, I'm putting this out there. If anybody's looking for a good running backs coach, I've been looking into getting into coaching for a very long time. I've been considering it now that I'm married, have a kid, I'm settled, I can hold still in one spot. I tell everyone I wasn't the most skillful. Because of that, I'm appreciative. I had to learn the art truly to be a great runner, to be a great running back. And there are a lot of skills that I can give and teach. Listen, I like it. I do like it. I just here's my only thing is I like him as a mentor and somebody you bring into camp. I don't like him as a running backs coach. Like you got to start somewhere, Brandon. You can't just go right to the NFL. Like you had to do Pop Warner in high school football and college football when you're a player, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing and repeat again. Rinse and repeat, my friend. Rinse and repeat. I like the balls to say it publicly. Let's be honest, Brandon Jacobs has never been a shy guy.
It's true. I
Never
mean,
been. He'd be the perfect mentor, though, for Scat.
he would be.
Except for you have to explain to him the size difference, which he'll realize, obviously, when he stands next to him. There's a slight wee size difference there.
He'd be like, what are you talking about? There's no size difference.
Hello, Brandon Jacobs.
I don't see the problem here. Why can't I run down the middle like you?
Well, listen, I love it. I love when guys who played with the Giants are involved with the team later on. You know, it's a nice thing. I love like every time I see like a random thing on like TV of like the sidelines and there's like Jesse Armstead there sitting there, or like I know Charles Way used to be a guy you used to see very often. I don't know if he's still with the team or not, but he used to be a guy that you see quite often on the sidelines as well. But you know, it's just it's something that I like seeing because it makes me feel like it's more of a lifetime family kind of thing for the players too. You know what I mean?
It's a culture thing too.
Yeah.
And like it goes back around like, oh, if I play well here and I do great. When I'm doing football, they're going to take care of me. Like, the more I give to this team and the organization now, the more they're going to give back to me later in life.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly where it is. You know what? I'm looking it up right now because I'm trying to see if Charles Way is actually still in the organization in any way, shape, or form. I had no clue that apparently his wife is the lieutenant governor of New Jersey.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. She's 23. She's been the lieutenant governor of New Jersey. That's a crazy weird fact.
Bring back the bear hunt.
Like I said, I just had no clue. But let's see. Okay, here we go. So he's actually now the head of the NFL's player engagement department. So he was 14 years with the team afterwards. But like I said, I just thought that, you know, I like seeing those guys out there. I really do. It's just like I said, part of that, maybe it makes me feel less old. Like, oh look, that guy's still on the Giants. Even though he's like holding a clipboard and like but yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely something that, you know, I like to see Jacobs involved with the team. I do. And he's been involved. I've seen him at what was that? It was one of the preseason games. I think I saw him in a video of him and LT actually at the game. And LT was signing autographs and they were asking Brandon Jacobs to hold things. They didn't realize who Brandon Jacobs was. And LT's just sitting there like this, like signing autographs left and right. But like I said, I want to see it. But Jacobs, go do it at high school, go do it at college, go do it the right way. Don't look to make shortcuts. I mean, hell, his kid's going to college himself right now, so you know maybe he can get a job there. You put in a word for his old man.
I heard my dad is good.
Oh my gosh. All right. One last segment here, guys, because we have a new kicker plan yet again. Tight end depth and 4 workout names you need to know before Sunday, guys. All kinds of crazy moves because we have kicker issues yet again. It's like, how many goddamn kickers should we have? So Graham Gano, literally like an hour before we got on here, got put on the IR again. We knew it, neck injury. They had signed a rookie kicker, Ben Salz, to the practice squad, who was spent some time with the Steelers on their practice squad and with their training camp there. Was at a Pitt. It's 122 out of 124 extra points while in college, 52 of 64 field goals while in college. In preseason, he was 4 of 4 for field goals, including 1 over 50 yards. So I guess he's got some abilities. He's a rookie. We don't really know what he is yet, but again, he hasn't been on the roster, so I'm not going to hold too high regards there. But again, Gano is officially on the IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 weeks. I'm going to call it right now. He's played his last game with the Giants.
I think so.
And I don't know.
Especially if you get one of these guys. Especially if you get one of these guys and they play very serviceable in the position. Why take the chance?
The bigger thing for me is the fact that what we were screaming about last year. Why in the hell would you go ahead and keep this guy when you can go ahead and save a ton of money? We cut him next year. We save $4.5 million against the cap.
We could get 3 of these guys for that.
Yeah. So there's no reason to hold on to him. And again, he's 38 now. He can't stay healthy for 3 seasons in a row. It is time to move on. So we got Ben Salz now on the practice squad. Of course, we still have Jude McAtominay. Nobody ever wants to see ever again on the practice squad. But again, he's a free roster spot because the international player program there. So he's just there for show, basically, at this point. Koo is going to be probably the kicker in the meantime there. And unless he does something crazy, he'll probably be the kicker the rest of the way, I think.
Probably.
Unless he messes up and there's a coup against Koo.
Not the Q. It's a cuckoo. Cuckoo. A shoe.
Did somebody watch Crazy Rich Asians?
No.
That's literally a segment in Crazy Rich Asians you just did.
Was it really?
Yes, it was actually what's the guy? The guy that was the Ken or whatever his name is. The guy was in guy was like the gangster in Hangover. It was like naked and drunk.
I
forget his last name.
I don't remember saying. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, good movie by the way. Set in
Chow.
Singapore, very good movie. Yes, Chow was the name
Hangover
of the character.
2?
It's the same character, yes. Anyway, tight end Zach Davidson also got added to the practice squad. 6'7", 251 pounds. Was a rookie last year. 6th-round pick for the Bills. 2 games, 1 catch, 5 yards last year for them. Hasn't seen any action so far at all for them this year in 25. So again, not holding out a lot of high hopes there. But I think basically what it is that they're bringing them in because keep in mind, guys, we got a lot of free agent tight ends coming up. So, you got Chris Manhurst is a free agent. Daniel Bellinger is a free agent. So you bring a young kid in, see what you got, and take it from there at that point sometimes. What we have, this is we're starting to prep for next year, basically, at this point, which is sad to do after 10 weeks. But that's where we're at. Giants also brought 4 players in for workouts. Linebacker Trace Ford, you all probably remember him from his time with us during training camp. He was a guy that I thought actually would make it out of camp because I thought he played pretty damn good in the preseason, but somehow he's still around. So they brought him in for a workout today. Micah Abernathy, also safety, brought it in, 6 foot even, 195 pounds, 20 games in his career with 11 tackles, played for the Packers in 22, played for the Falcons the last 2 seasons, 23 and 24. Didn't play for anybody yet this year. Also spent time in his career in the practice squad of the Vikings, the Bucks, and the Colts. Also played for the Dallas Renegades of the XFL in 2020 and the Houston Gamblers of the USFL in 22. So yeah, he's been around. He's kind of like the Johnny Cash of safeties here. It looks like that's insane.
Sounds like it.
Think about it. That's 8 stops. 8 stops in his career.
It's 20. Crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, guys. So, yeah. They also brought in Tysheem Johnson, their safety, 5'10", 195 pounds, undrafted rookie free agent from Oregon, was waived after camp with an injury designation. So, listen, it's a guy that you sometimes the injury guys is just you're a borderline guy and you're not healthy. So, that's basically what it brings down to. Bring him in, see what you got, I guess. Miles Purchase, a corner, 5'9", 203 pounds, another undrafted rookie free agent from Iowa State, has spent 2 different stints with the Chargers on their practice squad, but currently not on them. So you brought him in for a workout. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with these guys overall, but we saw the issues when we had injuries on the secondary. So, don't be surprised at all if we sign somebody because our secondary sucks.
Yeah. It's only funny because it's true.
Yeah. It 100% is true. So, we'll have to find out there. All right. We're going to get your guys' comments here real quick, as promised. So let's get right into it. Here we pull up the page here with the comments. Go all the way up to the top here. All right, here we go. So let's see. Deb with the good evening, kids. Good evening.
Howdy.
Salutations. Greg, what's up, Goopballs? Go Big Blue. What's up, man? Deb said, was just listening to Paul Schwartz. Daboll was fired by Mara, not Shane. Shane was shocked when he was called in and told about it. Well, I got to be honest, Deb, that's the first I'm hearing of that. I know damn well you don't put things in unless that's the truth. So I will 100% take your word on that one. But I'm curious when you say listen to, was that on like a podcast or was he like, I know Paul Schwartz, but I can't sit there and say I know every single thing he's always on. Is it the New York Daily News or something he works for? I think one of the papers.
Yeah,
they all kind of blend together. Who reads papers?
Paper boy.
Jay says, why even take an interim job? Pretty much every interim head coach is looked down on by teams. I think it makes sense for Kafka because he's been trying to be a head coach for a while, and if he does good, he just made himself a name.
Yeah, he's already had a good circuit name around. So
yeah,
you come here and they play just about 500 football, he'll be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah. So, like I said, he's been a runner-up for the Colts. He's been runner-up for the Saints. He's been runner-up for the Cardinals. Runner-up for the Seahawks. I mean, eventually, you can only be the bridesmaid so many times. Deb says Paul Schwartz was on Giants Insider, and Biz confirmed what he said. Okay, yeah, like I said, that doesn't shock me at all because the reports were that John Mara wanted to fire him after Denver. We said that was one of the things that kind of confused us. Is if you wanted to fire him after Denver, then how do you make it to the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But, didn't make it third time. Third time's the charm. That's what we got him finally.
Hooray.
Let's see. Deb says, so Shane would have still kept Daboll. Sheesh. Yeah, like I said, not my biggest issue with the team is Joe Shane, but he's definitely on my list of pros. Definitely goes in the cons column.
Yeah.
Jason's Deb breaking news in the comments section. And then Daboll is not human. He says, if I could guess, Daboll is probably likable in real life. Shane is a fake prick. I would agree with that, honestly. Shane is definitely the guy you would not want to have a beer with, probably.
Yeah, just a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Yes. And then Jay says, Bill Belichick, the tire industry. Greg says, Kafka probably thank God Daboll's gone. Like I said, I can't imagine they had a great relationship, even if they were able to get along outside of work because listen, these guys all travel together. Don't tell me they don't probably go out to dinner together and stuff like that sometimes. That's life. We've all been on work trips. That happens.
Yeah.
You don't know anybody else there. What are you doing? You might see maybe a family of friends you might have in the area some places. But a lot of times you're all getting together as a coaching staff and going out to dinner probably.
That's match up.
Yeah.
Match up. Yeah.
As Jay says, it all feels toxic. Greg, he says, Greg says, first, tell you the truth. I thought Bowen would have went first. Yeah, I wonder sometimes if Bowen not going is what caused him not to go first. It was like, well, you didn't handle this situation, so we don't trust you to handle any situation.
Could be. That fall guy you were keeping there was your downfall.
Yeah. Jay says, in real life, sometimes he will put a fake first impression and you like them initially, but they suck. The authentic people, it's the opposite. Yes. I've always said I have the worst first impressions of people because I just say what it is. I've gotten in trouble with that before. Actually, one time my wife brought us out to a couple friends she met online that she wanted to have couple friends with. And she said everything was great until I showed up, because I showed up like an hour later because I had work. She's like, you scared them off. I'm like, good. If they can't deal with me, then they can't deal with me. I am what I am. I'm not going to change. I'm going to say brash things. I'm going to have no filter whatsoever. It is what it is. Deal. Deal or don't deal. It is what it is. Jay says, what's the Giants finish the season with barely? Watch this Giants, I think he meant, finish the season with barely any penalties and super discipline. I would be laughing hysterically and happy at the same time. Wouldn't shock me.
I would be, ecstatic.
Greg says, maybe the spark we needed. Yes. Jay says, yeah, Kafka and Jameis has me interested for Sunday. Yeah, I was seriously, it's got to have you interested. You got to be curious, you know?
Yeah. Gotta be still.
Greg says, yeah, at least it's Winston over Russ. Damn straight. I would have been, listen, we might not even had a post-game show or a play-by-play. I might have said, we'll see you next week. Bad enough Rob has to go to the game. Which also means you guys are stuck with me all day Sunday.
Sorry.
Ronnie says, we have some great guys if they can coach. Yeah. Like I said, I really do think that the talent's there. Again, we talked about the 4 games. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but we could easily be a 500 or a better team right now. There's no reason we're 2-8, except for bad coaching. Point blank. Because we coach not to lose. We don't coach to win. We coach not to lose.
That's how you lose.
Exactly. Jay says Green always plays down to their opponent, meaning Green Bay. Yes, they do 100%. Greg says Dart's very impressive for a rookie. I'm very happy with Dart. Damn straight, we should be. Listen, if anybody's unhappy with Dart, I don't know what your expectations are. You know, the only knock I can say on him, and I was on a show yesterday talking about this, the only knock you can give on him is, besides the Saints games, he's only had two turnovers, the fumble against the Bears, the interception against the Broncos. Both of those were ill-timed. They were very ill-timed. It was kind of like he doesn't give a lot of turnovers, but you can make the case that when he makes turnovers, they're kind of in bad situations to make a turnover. And that's a legitimate statement, I think you can say.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that's you looking for an issue with the turnovers, because when you get concussed and you fumble the ball, I'm not going to blame you for that fumble.
Well, that's him not diving. That's him not sliding for like he should have. That's what that is. No, but I'm just saying, I can see where somebody could sit there and say, okay, in the last 3-4 weeks, he's had 2 games where he's made a bad decision at a very key time. I can get that, but again, he's a rookie. I expect that. If he came in like blazing and making no mistakes whatsoever, I'd be so impressed. It's not even funny because it never happens. Look who led the league. Look who led the league, and I'm going to go back a little bit here, but look who led the league in 1998 in turnovers. Man named Peyton Manning. How'd he do? How did his career end up? I think the guy was literally going below average in turnovers. Like I said, it's amazing the way he's playing as a rookie. It really is. Greg says we do have a future, Giants fans. Damn straight we do. We don't have a present, but we have a future. He says, Dart, please just slide, for crying out. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm telling you right now, when he comes back in, which I'm assuming he'll be back in against the Lions, which is, not this week, but the following week. I really, really want there to be some kind of situation where Kafka sits him down and says, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make you slide or dive and anything to avoid a hit on every single time you run the ball. If you don't, what's going to happen is I'm going to take you out the goddamn game for your own protection. And you know what? I don't even care about the wins and the losses right now. I care about the lessons Dart's going to learn. And I know he doesn't learn anything with the bench, but if you think anything about this kid whatsoever, know that he hates not being in the game. Look at him flipping out the last couple of times he was in concussion protocol. They were just checking him out to see if he had one. Which, by the way, again, I heard people say 4 concussions. He had 1 concussion, not 4, 1. 4 checks, Jeez. 1 concussion. Stephen A. Smith started that, by the way, because he's a freaking idiot. But
oh God,
he was flipping out every time they would do it. So, like I said, I think that in the end, you go ahead and you pull him aside like that, and you tell him point blank, slide, or we're going to take you out of the game. And and there's going to be no second chance. We're going to just take you out of the game. and Jameis will finish out the game. He'll learn real quick. Watch. He will learn real goddamn quick to slide because it would drive him nuts to be taken out of the game. I'm telling you. Jay says, I'm cool with him running like that at the end of a game or the playoffs, but that's it. I'm cool with him running like that. Like the game's in the line, like you're saying, the end of the game. Regardless, playoffs, regular season, whatever. I get it. You got to take your chances sometimes. But that particular play where he got the concussion, he should have slid the second he was about to get hit. Point blank. Should have slid.
Yes.
So.
And that's what you'll learn. Like, you need time to slide, right? You're going to get that call. Rough to the passer.
Yeah.
Or when he starts to slide, and then you get more yards.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just insanity. Greg says, yeah, he definitely can when it matters. It just hasn't mattered this year. Sucks. Kafka did learn from Andy Reid. Yes, he did. Ronnie says, we can do so much better. We can't do much worse, that's for sure. I think we're pretty much at that point.
It could be the Jets, but then
let's see. I'm excited too. And then he never made adjustments for the fourth quarter. Talking about
Daboll, yeah,
BB, but I think she means BD for Brian Daboll. That's the usual abbreviation people give for him there. I mean, honestly, I think the fourth quarter adjustments thing is a little overplayed. There's some halftime adjustments. You see things, you have a meeting quickly as a coaching staff and see things and go over stuff. I don't think the fourth quarter is what it is. It's just a matter of learning to seal the deal. That's all. Learning to seal the deal. Learning how to win.
There's definitely that, but like your halftime, like just because you're winning doesn't mean you don't make any adjustments at halftime. That's part of where these losses come from late in games. It doesn't just stem in the third quarter. Momentum builds up in the third quarter.
You know, it's like
it trickles down.
You know, we all had that one friend, and I know who probably yours is, but we had that one friend who would like go to the bar or go to a club or something, start talking to a girl, things would be going great, and then all of a sudden he sees something really stupid and blow the whole goddamn thing at the end.
You know exactly who that is.
I know exactly who that is. Yes, I do. And it wasn't me, for the record, guys. If anything, I was the guy too scared to went online and did online dating instead. But
I didn't do anything.
I'm saying, listen, 6'7". I didn't have to do much. But when it boils down to it, though, that's what he was. Brian Daboll is that guy at the bar trying to pick up a woman and buy her a drink, great conversation, things are going great. He's about to go take her on home, and then he says something stupid and scares her off at the last minute. That was Brian Daboll.
He's like, I don't match my socks. What?
Oh, he'll be like, I have a bag of lime in the trunk for no apparent reason. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just that's what it was. It's like you just didn't know how to finish.
I have a house, no cap. It smells like
That was
cat
Brian Daboll. Greg says 1K to 4Ks. I'm not sure. Oh, I think he's been kickers. I think we're being kickers there.
Yeah.
Ronnie says press conference went well. Like I said, I mean, I don't. Kafka's not a dumb guy. I expected that to go decent. He's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. He was trained by some good people. You know, like we said, Andy Reid obviously is probably the best coach. I shouldn't say probably. He's the best coach in the NFL right now, and you can make the case that he's probably top 5 all time. He split hairs when you start going too much into it. It's hard not to give it to Belichick, even though the Brady situation, but he's definitely top 5. That's for damn sure. Greg says maybe we see Fedoni finally. Like I said, hopefully. Deb says I think they wanted to keep Tierney with Dart exclusively as quarterback coach and not pull him to BOC. Yeah, and I mean, there's a sensibility to that. You're keeping things as close as you can as what they were for Dart, not messing them up and not putting him through too much changes.
Yeah, that's
100% makes sense. You got to wonder also though. Shea Tierney is a Daboll guy. Like those guys talk about how Kafka was saying how they're good friends and stuff like that. And they'll still talk to him. That's Tierney. Like, you ever had that guy that leaves a job and he's like still calling people that work there to find out what's going on after he leaves?
Yeah.
Like, if Daboll is that guy, I don't know if he is or isn't, but if he is, he's calling Shea Tierney. And Shea Tierney spilling everything. Like, that's just it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's the relationship of those two. I'm not even hating on it. Like, there's a lot of mutual respect between those two. So, see, Ronnie says yes. Greg says, never know who can catch till they get thrown to. Yep. I mean, that's very, very valid. That's for damn sure. Ronnie with another yes. A lot of agreement with her today. I like it. Greg says, we lost our only tall wide receiver. Yep. Anthony in the house says, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Hey,
We're starting an Outcast song.
I was a little bit.
Shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Deb says, hey, AC. Greg says, Kafka didn't have him signed quick enough, I guess. Wonder if he would have did that. I mean, again, you don't know because we don't know whose decision that was in the beginning. For all we know, Kafka was telling Daboll, he doesn't fit my offense. I don't like him. I mean, I brought it up. Kenny Golladay, you want to go back to the 22 season again. Kenny Golladay, as much as he was a horrible player with the Giants, he looked much worse in 22 than he did in 21. I always wondered if he just wasn't a fit for the offense. And he's that big jump up and get it guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was other issues with Kenny Golladay way beyond the issues of everything going on there with the scheme as far as the injuries and him not being the same player. He's still just 32 years old, by the way, guys. How scary is that? This tells you how quick he left. But his first year with us, 37 catches, 521 yards. Again, not great, but especially with the contracts, but it's a really bad signing, but that's at least a serviceable wide receiver. And then he goes to 6 catches, 81 yards next year.
That's amazing.
So, like I said, that's the first year with Daboll and Kafka. So I part of me wonders if that's the reason why Humphries is gone. But again, this is what I don't like about this coaching staff. This is like the same as like trying to convert, Azudu to a tackle from a guard and trying to turn Banks into a zone guy when he's a press guy. Like the same thing. Like these are the players you have. Find a way to use them already. And use them to their strengths. Don't try to make them fit their square peg in your round hole.
I was about to say they're definitely trying to. I get trying to diversify your team and making players more usable in different positions, but like sometimes when you have a unique player that plays a unique position, you just feed into what they do best and just let them do what they do best.
Yeah. And
like not every receiver out there is a D-ball where he can go out there and go from the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, they want those short, quick, little guys that run these crazy routes that they want. And Humphries doesn't necessarily fit that. Well, good luck now with Hyatt and Bo Collins. Watch Oshevsky become our top receiver this week.
I
actually want to see more of Oshevsky. I do. Well, he looked good in the preseason as a wide receiver. Him and Dart had a little connection going, if you noticed. And all of a sudden he gets one catch and it's for a touchdown. It's a nice catch too. So he was the guy with the peanut punch too as well to save the interception.
It's true.
He should play corner as well. He's the new Travis Hunter.
He totally married it.
Gunnar Oshevsky playing wide receiver, corner, and kick returner. He's all three assets there. Anthony says, at the end of the day, Drew, yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Dorothy says, how is our depth of wide receiver still so horrible? It's because we have no depth in general. This is part of why I don't like Shane. We have issues.
Yeah.
Like I said, he doesn't do everything wrong. I'm not saying he's the worst guy in the world, but I still think we can do better. I really do think. It is what it is. Anthony says, I'm over the fact that we're keeping him. However, Bowen needs to be gone tonight. Hanging on to him makes no sense. We lose you, Rob? We did. Oh, but he sent me a little message, be right back, and I didn't even see it there. So, all right. Let's see here. Where'd I go here? Oh, I've lost my spot here because of that. Let me go back to where we were here. Let's see here. Deb says, I don't know. Humphrey at 55 yards at Philly and 0 the following 2 games. I think Oshevsky is better. He might be. I want to see Gunnar Oshevsky more. Like I said, I am intrigued by him. But like I said, Humphrey to me, even that one game produced more than Hyatt has all year and Bo Collins has all year. I'm like I said, I like to see him there. Dorothy says McCall Hardman is out there. I thought he got signed by somebody. or did I miss him getting cut again? Or yeah, he got signed 2 days ago to the Bills. I thought so. Now he's on their practice squad, but let's be honest. If you have a choice between the Bills and the Giants right now, the Bills are going to the playoffs. The Giants are not. Who are you picking? You're picking the Bills, unless you care about playing time. Deb says, interesting that Tim is saying Carter is a bust. Yeah, well, he never was a fan of Carter. And, I wasn't exactly the biggest guy of him coming into the draft. I've been trying to be optimistic about him. But it comes to a point where getting close is not good enough. But I'm going to say this, though. As I say with all rookies, you got to give it a year or two, really, before you know what you got in them. I don't think we know what we have yet. So, we'll find out. Hopefully he's as good as y'all think he is, because I know a lot of people out there think that he is the second coming of Micah Parsons, and we try to stop people from saying that all off season on this show. But he's got expectations to live up to, and it's partially on him for asking for the LT jersey number and all that stuff. So, Anthony says, "F no, guys. We finally have a good wide receiver, a really good slot, a franchise quarterback, a savage running back, a solid defense with the right defense coordinator. I can't jump on that train." Talk about the trading for Tomlin thing. Greg says, why haven't they at least tried Gunner more? Nothing to lose, really. Yeah, I think you're going to see it now. I'm hopeful. Maybe I'm just being overly optimistic. I'm hoping that somehow, you're going to be all of a sudden a magic wand wave, and all of a sudden all the problems will be fixed by getting rid of Daboll. Probably not the truth, that's for sure. Anthony says, I wouldn't be willing to give up Tyson or Tate to be paired with Neighbors this year. Well, like I said, we'll have to see where we're at, and that's part of that equation. I don't think we're going to say that. I know you don't think we're going to win many games left, but I think we're going to win a few games still. He says, you're talking about giving up the possibility of the best receiving core in the NFC. We'll see. Like I said, we got to see where we land at this point. I just think you and I are working under different assumptions in that regard. You think it's going to stay a top 5 pick. I think it'll be, like I said, more like 10, 11 or somewhere around there. Deb says, Tomlin to New York will never happen. It's a pipe dream. Depends on how things go. I mean, if there's anybody he would go to, let me put it this way. The Steelers first have to tell him they don't want him anymore. And he'd have to go to a situation that's right for him. And I think the Giants' is a situation that would be hard-pressed to find a coach who wouldn't be intrigued by it. Because of Dart, point blank. Because the pieces that are here around Dart. The pieces are there. Just needs the right coach. Anthony says, even with Daboll gone, I think we win one game out of the rest of them. We'll see. He says, with Dart on Sunday, I would have given them a 40% chance of winning. I like Winston over Russ, but I don't see Winston winning this game after the injury report today. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't say we're going to win this game. It's the Raiders game that we're going to win, probably. It's the Commanders game I think we're going to win. I think the Cowboys is a game we could potentially win as well. And listen, there's 3 games there, and chances are we probably lose one of the ones we're supposed to win and probably win one of the ones we're supposed to lose. That's how I'm looking at it. That puts us at 5 wins for the season, which is not great, but it's kind of what I'm expecting at this point here. Let's see here. Ronnie says, shake my head sad. Anthony says they almost beat the Bills. Says, sorry, boys. Only one win this year is Raiders. Oh, no. Everybody beats the Raiders except the Patriots.
They have 2 wins.
Yeah, who's the second one, was it? Who was the second one? I'm trying to remember.
That's a good question.
Wasn't it they were like playing another shitty team? Like somebody had to win kind of game?
Titans, maybe?
I think it was Titans.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Titans. I think you're right. I remember it was one of those kind of games where the teams suck and one had to win.
Titans.
Anthony says, I would debate trading for McVay. See, McVay scares me because I don't think he has the same passion for football that some of these coaches do. Brilliant mind, don't get me wrong. But he's like not even 40 yet, right? And he's been talking about retiring already.
And it's not just saying Tomlin himself, but you go out there and get yourself an elite quarterback. Coach. Is that something you're willing to do for a first round pick?
I would in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. No second thought.
And Giant fans, we've seen what a good coaching staff could do for you and what a bad one could really do for you. Especially the past couple of years.
Yes. It happens all the time. You get the right coach in there, and then all of a sudden things happen. It just is what it is.
the NFL is like, what have you done for me lately? Like, look at what Vrabel's done lately.
Yeah, I mean, Vrabel's a classic example. They had a bad coach there. No offense to him, he only had 1 year to do it, unfortunately, but they had a bad coach there. And they go out and get the best coach they could that offseason. And then next thing you know, now they're a good team. Again, I still think their record's somewhat suspect because of all the crappy teams they played, but they're still much better than last year no matter what.
You could doubt a little bit. They definitely beat some good teams, but it's also Drake May. Look at his development. He's, I think, right now leading the league in MVP candidate.
Yeah.
So he went from, is he the good rookie, to the guy that's one of the best quarterbacks, top 3 quarterback this year. So it's a lot of talent, but it's also a lot of coaching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Greg says I trade for a great younger coach, which is the McVay is the big one with that. Obviously, he's still 39, but again, I feel like he's talked about retiring how many years now. Tomlin is still young. He's 53. I'm perfectly fine with that age. That means he's got another 15 years to go or so.
I was about to say he's going to be the guy that's coached until he's 70.
Yeah, I say people forget how young he was when he became a head coach.
Yeah, I get Greg why I say trade for a younger head coach, because you want that guy that's going to be in your organization for a long time. Bill Belichick was with the Patriots, 22 years?
Yeah.
So, and he was there as a great coach for 22 years, winning consistently. Like Tomlin going over to the Steelers, how long? 20 years?
And Tomlin was 2007, so he was 35 years old when he started there. That's insanity. Yeah. That's the Steeler way, though. But I feel like there's also the familiar connections there between the Steelers and the Giants too. Keep in mind those families really married together. That's why we have an actress named Rooney Mara, the girl with the dragon tattoo, the one who married Joaquin Phoenix. She's literally a Mara and a Rooney. That's Chris Mara's daughter, I think, right? Isn't that what it is?
I believe so.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah. Oh, hold on. No, yeah. Timothy Christopher Mara. So I think they just call him Chris. That's the Chris one, right?
Yeah.
I try not to get too involved in their stuff. Because and Kathleen Rooney is the mother. So, and yes, Kate Mara. So, all the whole Mara stuff there. Those are the only Maras we care about, the Hollywood ones.
Obviously.
Damn straight. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Anthony says, imagine Jacobs with Scat. Yeah. So I'm saying that's perfect mentor. Debs also, Tomlin has a no trade clause in his contract. Yes, he does. But he'd have to want to go as well. That's not unheard of. That stuff breaks all the time. If I get told, I don't want you anymore, we want you to go to New York, they're going to give us a first round pick for him. And he's like, when we talk to him, we give him a new contract extension. Next thing you know, things happen.
Yeah, it's all about the money and the money trail.
It's not just the money thing for him. It's where he wants to be. If he gets told point blank, we don't want you, which is what the Steelers have to do to say we're going to trade you. Like, we don't want you. We want to move on. And I get why they would, because their fan base at this point dislikes Tomlin, which they're stupid. They're going to find out how good a coach he is once he's gone. But they don't like him because they blame him for not getting the playoff wins. Again, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson.
The problem that you run into when you play as well as he has in his career, well, coach as well as he has in his career, you don't get the best draft picks.
Yeah.
And depending on what your GM is doing around there and who you're drafting, you're kind of playing roulette when it comes to getting that stud quarterback.
Yeah.
So, like, Talon, you said it was 07. That's like right when Big Ben started over there.
Yeah.
And he had him for quite some time. And Big Ben, top 10 quarterback for his whole career, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you figure if he started at 07, he was Ben's coach for the most of his career. You know, Cowher was just the first 3 seasons.
Yeah. So okay. That's like 04, right?
Yeah, 04 because he was the same class as Eli.
Yes.
So he was, like I said, he's been lucky with that, but then ever since then. So, you know, it is what it is. Listen, at this point, I'll take getting in the playoffs every single year. Being at least a respectable team every year. And I said the same thing with McCarthy, and I'll say with any coach. It just gets to a point where you get to that next level, and if you can't get to the level past that, we got to move on and try to find somebody who can. But we need to get to that next level. I'm tired of being this pathetic team.
Yeah. We talk about like it's all about the ring, but it's really hard when you win three games a year and turn around like we're going to win the Super Bowl next year.
Yep.
That typically doesn't happen.
Yep. All right, we're gonna let me try to zip through these real quick. We're stopping to talk about different subtopics here, but we want to try to swing through because I feel bad. We've gone the last couple episodes not going over every single comment because you guys keep commenting a lot, which I love, by the way. But I want to try to appreciate everybody's time as well. So Greg says, I remember Big Charles Way. Hell's yeah, I remember Berman all the time. Charles, show me the way. Met him too. Nice guy. Very mellow, but nice guy. Anthony says, perfect, Deb, so I don't need to stress about that stupid decision. Yes, you do. Always stressed. Anthony, I know better. You're always stressed. She's the correct AC. Greg says, Rodney Hampton was good top. Yeah, Rodney Hampton was the man back in the day. In fact, he did what he did with freaking Dave Brown as a quarterback. Yeah. Anthony says, he has more ability than Gano. Well, at this point, everyone does because Gano can't even stay healthy.
Yeah.
Greg says, as long as it's not McAtamney, damn straight. Anthony says, imagine if this was the GM's plan, keep the shitty players, keep the injury-prone kicker just in time to throw Daboll under the bus. I think he's just that bad a GM. B Solo says, I'd like to bring back Belly back. Yeah. Bellinger, point blank, should be re-signed. I like him. Again, we're going to see what happens with Daboll going to see that changes the way things have been going for him.
He's not going to cost a lot. So
no, can't. Deb says, except Shane didn't let go. Daboll go. Mara did. Yeah. Anthony says, we have Flanagan Fowles who went ape shit last week. Yeah, he looked good. He did. He says, just making conspiracy theories over here, Deb. Just weird that they fired Daves and then a bunch of moves bringing people in for workouts. Well, again, new person, new mentality. The Paul Schwartz one we already read. Revenge is strife. Kafka gives me the same vibes as Seahawks coach. Kafka, McDaniel, the real supercomputer. Hashtag not Dylan Gabriel. We'll see. I mean, listen, the Seahawks liked him a lot. And McDonald liked him a lot as well. He wanted to bring him in for his OC position and went to Clint Kubiak instead, who's now going to be potentially a head coaching candidate as well. Quite frankly, the kind of guy that the Giants would go for, but I don't want him. So that's why I didn't put him on the list. I don't want to will it into possibilities, basically.
Yeah.
Anthony says Stephen A. Smith and Carl Banks come from the town of F-Tars. Sean Jackson says, guys, for the most part, we've had the Packers number somehow, whether Eli, DJ, or DeVito. We found some ways to beat Green Bay. Yeah, I mean, last time I beat him in London, was it?
Yes,
100%. It was the 22 season.
Was just talking about the Giants. It was London, and then I think Green Bay beat us the time before that, and then we beat them.
Yeah,
it was pretty much in our Super Bowl runs.
I remember because you and I dressed up in top hats,
drinking some tea,
and had tea time for that episode, and we weren't even doing video yet. We still did it.
Yeah,
we did put the video segment of that up, but still, yeah, that was our very first year. Revenge of Strife. Wonder how much Daboll was holding Kafka back. Offense has been scoring. I definitely think he was in the way. He says Tierney didn't get OC position. Nope, that went to Kelly, the tight end coach. He says should Shane lead the head coach search? Need your thoughts? No. Right? What do you got?
Yeah.
Part of the problem I have with that is if he's your GM, he should. But the problem is he shouldn't be your GM.
I just wonder when they ran out of Buffalo, he said what was available then was Daboll, and he stuck by his guy who he had a good work relationship with, and he just didn't give up on his buddy.
Maybe he's not such a schmuck after all. Then
maybe. So part of me leans that way, but then also you heard the fans last year. Maris probably said something, Shane, about last year. We could have had a lot better of coaching staff, like a head coach.
Open checkbook I would have had for Vrabel last year. Open checkbook.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care what you want. You tell me what the money is, and I'm going to put up the number on the check.
Right? Could have got a Harbaugh.
That's the beauty of
playing Harbaugh. Got a Harbaugh.
Could not have gotten Harbaugh. Both Harbaughs were employed at that point. 2 years ago, we could have gotten it. 2 years ago was when Jim went to the Chargers. I don't want that Harbaugh. I want the other Harbaugh.
Both Harbaughs win rings, so.
But the one Harbaugh won a college ring, and he works better in college because eventually he pisses people off because of the way he coaches. He's that guy. You bring him in for a couple of years, he makes you a whole lot better, but you got to bring somebody else in when he pisses everybody off. Ask San Francisco.
Cool.
But he's a good coach with a sound mind. Just needs work on people skills. Revenge says, what is Joe Shane's best move as New York GM, and what's his worst move? His best move is drafting Jackson Dart as of right now. That's Daboll's move, really. Daboll wanted him. But otherwise, neighbors.
Yes, Dave's definitely want him, but we've talked before. Like, if Shane didn't want him, he's going to veto it down.
Yep.
So he was on board.
Now, he's the GM, so I'm going to put this on him as well because he still has to sign off on this stuff. Shane Bowen's his worst.
Yeah.
He also says maybe Daboll has too much control over Bowen. Daboll hated the fact he couldn't control Wink. Well, that's the interesting part is Wink wanted to go 100% man. He wanted to zone. He forced Wink into zone coverage at times. And now you have a guy who does zone coverage nonstop. That's a possibility. We're going to find out this week on the exciting edition of Can the Giants Actually Win a Game? Anthony says Carter is going to be a beast when they have a defensive coordinator that knows his head from. Well, we know he remains the rest of that, but he didn't continue. Like I said, we'll see. That's why I'm reserving judgment on any defensive player not named Deonte Banks till this is over. Though Banks is not being used right either. Revenge says thoughts on Tibbs moving forward. He ain't touched Strahan's sack record, that's for sure. I like Tibbs. I do. Yeah. I think he's above average. He's not elite. He's a decent run stopper. He's a decent pass rusher, not elite at any of them. He's a good, well-rounded defensive end.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Anthony says revenge. I think he has talent. Again, just a horrible coaching defensive coordinator.
I agree with that 100%.
He says, Drew, you're reading my comments really makes me realize how negative this team has made me this year. At least my flag isn't upside down again. Let's see. Abbaset30 says, love your content. Joining next stream with friends. Add up on Discord. Helena09. We don't do Discord. I'm old. So, but, feel free to pop in the chat. We're always happy to talk to more people as well. So, Revenge says McVay or Tomlin would be such an upgrade. I'd be ecstatic. Damn straight. Tibbs is inconsistent, but I hope I'm wrong, Anthony. Well, you always hope you're wrong if it's a negative on a player, but unfortunately, usually when you're negative, you're right on a player if it's the Giants. That's the problem.
We shall see next week.
Anthony says, I just feel like he has him going against interior offensive linemen more than he is going against tackles. I think that's what an idiot of a DC has him doing a lot, and it's causing lots of doubles. Yeah, I definitely think he should be moving inside more on passing downs. Leave Carter on the outside because he's definitely light and fast. But, they're all kind of the similar body build is the problem. We don't have anybody that's like the tweener that you go, he's a defensive end, but I could throw him inside. The guy who was supposed to do that is Chauncey Golston. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Wow.
So, Revenge said Tibbs has never had a fantastic season, though, Anthony. They've just been meh. Never had that breakout year. I don't know, Anthony already beat me to the punch. He had 11.5 sacks when he was able to go after the quarterback in Wink system. Yeah. He said, ever since FTAR DC came in, Tibbs' production has dropped. Like everybody. Revenge says, we need to talk about the whole Daniel Jones debacle. We know John Mara hasn't been getting sleep with him and Saquon gone. This alone should have Shane gone. Will DJ implode? Well, we've talked about that enough. That's what it is. It's been, like I said, we're going to, well, it is what it is. We had to move on from Saquon because Saquon wanted to move on. If you watch the documentary, he didn't want to be here. His own documentary said he, during the playoffs in 2022, he was literally dreaming about playing for the Eagles. He didn't want to be there, you know?
Yeah.
But, and DJ, same as what we're talking about with the Patriots, his really weak schedule. He's got the only 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL so far this season. So I think DJ still, he's just in a good situation. Listen, I root for the kid, though. Again, I root for the kid, but that's where I think he's at.
Well, it's not only he's got the only 1,000-yard rusher so far. He's like, JT is like, there's him, and then there's everyone else. And it's not saying everyone else is bad. He's just that good this year.
He is what Saquon was last year.
Yeah, and almost what he was in 22.
But better than 22.
Yeah. He's also got a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Let's give him some more time.
And he's got good young receivers. The stacked team, the Colts, they always needed a quarterback.
Yeah. So he's going there filling that spot
up. Let's see here. Greg says, so if the season ended today, we're picking the third spot. Who are we drafting?
I have to do some more homework.
Yeah. It's unfortunately too far gone for us to even guess on that. But honestly, I would trade down. I want to fill up the depth of this roster, and I want a whole bunch of picks to do it. Because I feel like depth is don't get me wrong. Would it be great to have a second stud wide receiver? Yes. Would it be great to go get another guy for the offensive line? Yes. Would it be great to go get a stud tight end? Yes. Would it be great to go get a stud corner? Yes. I would rather try to fill gaps in this depth.
Listen, you can get stud like offensive lineman or defensive lineman or whatever you want to say, like from there.
Yeah.
Down the line from 3.
But I feel like we have studs. We're like top heavy. We're missing the middle.
Yeah. Which is fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Like trade down, you backfill.
Look at it, because like the first time we get somebody injured, we're like, oh my God, who's gonna play?
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. So trade down. Get as many picks as you possibly can. I would even mind going like fake mock draft style and trade down multiple times and have a whole bunch of second and third round picks and just load up this damn roster. It's not going to happen.
No.
But I would love it. Anthony says DJ imploded against the Steelers, and then last week. Yeah, coming out. Greg says, and we're not going to have a lot of cap space this summer. Who do we re-sign and who do we let walk? I don't know why you're saying that. We should have a decent amount of cap space. So, again, it depends on who we have to go get, to re-sign. I don't have this kind of stuff in front of me here. But we're projected to have anywhere from $14.5 to $30 million in cap space. Plus, on top of that, we have plenty of stuff we can go ahead and work around to create additional $35 million in cap space from what I remember correctly last time I looked at it, just by restructuring deals. Shane always hate on Shane all you want, because again, there's reasons to hate the guy, but he's done very good at these contracts. You can restructure Dexter Lawrence, you can restructure Andrew Thomas, you can restructure Brian Burns, you can restructure any of these big contracts, and you can make money very easily. And we did that a lot already. We've had to. Notice we got $5 million cap space by restructuring a couple of deals this year, and we can do that with our eyes closed. So, and that's before we even get into people that we can drop. We already talked about $4.5 million additional by dropping Graham Gano. You think that's going to happen? It should.
It better.
You want to see me flip out? Watch him not go. You'll see me flip out real bad that day.
And listen, hopefully it's the last time I'd say this on the podcast. Like, it's like it was fantastic for the Giants. Great player.
Yeah.
Just at this point with the injury, like
it's
bug just hit him. It's time.
It's like Daboll. Respect for what you did, but it's time. Time to move on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a jerk about it. I'm just gonna say it's time. So, all right, guys. Unfortunately, we got a few more here, but it's almost 2 hours in here. Rob's got to go to bed. He's got to go to work in the morning. I'm still unemployed, so I'm good to go. But in a couple of days, I'll be in the same boat here. So, but listen, we appreciate you guys for coming on with us here. We'll be back again tomorrow for Thursday's edition there. So feel free to pop more questions there if we didn't get to you there. Again, we'll be live also on Sunday on game day. I'll be doing live play-by-play with you all as well throughout the entire game, as well as also doing post-game coverage as well with you. So feel free to pop in for that. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that, ring that bell if you're on YouTube, which is the preferred provider there for us. Share the show, tell a friend about us, because quite frankly, we suck at marketing, need your help, guys. Again, we're always live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. Guys, if you haven't already, again, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. And of course, as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging.